Good day, it's Constantine. This is the fourth and last part of the SE-02 custom patches series, and I will be honest with you, it won't be for everyone. In this one, we will experiment a bit more and try some more experimental patches, if you will, and weird sounds. For some, certain patches might be just noise and of no musical value. Regardless, since all of that can be used in sound design, music, or what have you, it would be a shame not to demonstrate them on this synth, because it can produce quite wacky and weird sounds. Now, let's start. Okay, let's start with the more musical patches, something that can actually be used with, which will be much easier to use. Let's start with creating some long, evolving notes, not exactly drones, because they will eventually die out. Let's try something similar to the Dune, since Dune as in the movie. Okay, let's see. I have the filter. Okay, let's use all three oscillators. Let's do something thick. So let's go 16 feet for everything. That's the same waveform. So I'm going to use sawtooth, no sync. That's fine. I don't know what amount I'm going to use yet. Let's take the cutoff down. Let's increase the contour. Let's make the release for both envelopes, so 1 and 2. A bit of delay, just to add some space. Let's try and do slower attack times for both envelopes. Let's go even slower attack time. That's too slow. Something like that. Okay, let's continue in the similar spirits. So let's try and add stuff. Let's say add some filter LFO. So I'm going to continue. I'll keep the same settings for the oscillators. So that's the previous part. Let's add some LFO. Sound wave will do fine. Let's raise the filter a bit. Let's try different waveforms. I do like the sine wave. Let's try a similar sound with an even slower attack, because slow attacks work really well with these kind of sounds. So let's see, let me take the filter down, filter modulation. Let's go even lower. Let's do 32 feet. Let's do pulse, and pulse. Gonna put the release on 2. Less resonance. Let's engage the delay. Let's try something more experimental now. Let's try something super weird. Let's try a drone. Okay, so let's see. We're going to use cross modulation. So I'm going to turn all of the oscillators down. Now, even though the oscillators will be turned off, the cross modulation we're going to use will still affect the filter. So the choice of oscillator N1 and 2 will still affect the sound. So let's do 32 feet for the second one, and let's do 16 feet for the first one, and let's do sawtooth, and let's go pulse. Sync will be on. Let's turn this one up. Let's do a lot of cross modulation on these ones. Let's turn the amount up. Let's go with all the way up for the sustains, all the way up for the decay. Let's do LFO. Extreme amounts. Let's pick a different waveform. Let's use some feedback. And noise. Let's engage the delay as well. Something crazy. Let's do some Star Wars. Yes, you heard correctly. Let's try and do those old sci-fi effects, you know, when the heroes go into a huge room and has blinking lights and has those weird sound effects that make it seem high-tech. So let's try that one. Okay, let's take filter and feedback down. Emphasis as well. Let's turn the cutoff up. Not much contour. Let's turn the mixer on. Let's use all three oscillators. So since I want those blinking light effects from the sci-fi movies, I want higher octaves. So let's do 2 feet. Let's do 4. Let's do another one in 2 feet. Alright, so let's do square. Let's have one sawtooth. Square is fine. Okay, that's a lot of LFO. I don't want that yet. Right, so let's take the cutoff down. Let's have emphasis. Let's have a lot of contour. Possibly slower attacks. Let's take the release off. Let's use some cross modulation as well. I'll leave sync on. Oh, let's engage that knob here as well. Let's use some LFO. And let's use this waveform down here, which will give that effect. Let's add some delay as well. Okay, let's see. Stick the filter down a bit more. Let's try it with less. Let's reverse the polarity. I think now you know what kind of sound effect I mean in those old sci-fi movies. Okay, let's try something darker, less experimental. Okay, that was the previous one. Okay, let's see. I'm going to let's take cross mode off for now. Let's open the filter, take this down. Right, so we need lower fit because I want to be darker. Let's do 32 for everything. That's fine. Let's see. Let's use triangle. Let's use square wave. And let's do a narrow pulse. I'll leave sync on. Put this back to 0. Since sync is on, it will affect my cutoff, so I'm going to take oscillator 2 off, and I'll just have oscillator 1 and 3 on the mixer. Let's add some noise and filter that. Let's add some contour. Let's engage the key track. No sustain for either, and I'll just put release on 1 and 2 all the way up for both. Let's have slower attack. Let's add some cross modulation. Let's add some LFO. Let's go with sine wave. Slower rate. Let's do some LFO on the oscillator as well. Let's engage this modulation too. Let's add some delay. Just a bit of feedback. Yes, something like that, like a darker, less experimental parts. Which turns out to be quite experimental as well. Let's try one more evolving note because I really like those. Let's engage all three oscillators. Let's do 16 feet. And let's have a couple on 8 feet, but different waveforms. So for the first one, I'm going to use a sawtooth. And let's do... yeah, let's do a square wave and let's do another sawtooth. Yeah, that was my previous parts. Okay, that's fine. Better. I'm going to use all three oscillators. I'm going to leave it on sync. Let's filter it. Add some modulation. Very slow attack, all the way up for my filter envelope. And slow attack for my amp envelope, but not as much. You see? Okay, let's take the decay down. So let's put the release for both envelopes. Yep. I'm going to turn key track off. Add some noise as well. Sustain up. Let's use some delay as well. Okay, let's see. Let's take the filter down a bit more and let's try and add some feedback. And that is the end of the video, and that is the end of this series with the custom parts of the SE-02. Thank you very much for watching.